Alright, I got another late upload. This was actually on April 26th, and I'm just now getting to uploading it about a month late. So this was a pull day and some biceps, so back and bis. Started out with some lat pull downs. I'm not really the biggest fan of this bar that my gym got. It's a little bit too narrow for my taste. It probably was most cost effective for them. It looks like it's sort of a multi-grip bar, but quite frankly it just sort of feels like the worst of both worlds. So not the best. You can kind of see better from this angle how narrow it really is. I'm barely at shoulder width and I'm hanging right onto the ends of the bar. So I really would prefer to be doing these much wider, but unfortunately I'm kind of working with what I got. Next moved on to some cable rows. Went for more of an underhand grip on this. I've been trying to go a little bit more underhand on stuff to get a little bit more emphasis on the biceps. The angle of the bar, for whatever reason, it was kind of tweaking in a funny way with my wrist and my elbows. So not the biggest fan of this variation either with this bar specifically. Next, moved on to some dumbbell rows. 75s are the heaviest we have in my gym, so I try to go pretty slow and controlled with these. I can see that I'm still using a little bit of body English, but on these negatives I try to go down at a little bit of a slower tempo just to maximize the time under tension. Other thing I've been trying to keep in mind with these dumbbell rows is getting more of a stretch at the bottom. It's almost to the point where I'm sort of letting the arm that I'm rowing with stretch out and almost dip my shoulder down a little bit just to make sure that I'm really getting that stretch. So that's seems to be helping get a little bit more out of these lately. Some good old-fashioned bent-over barbell rows. I've gone with lighter weight on these more recently. I really have lost some strength, unfortunately, since I've been cutting weight, but it is what it is. I feel like I'm still getting some pretty good use out of those. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been trying to emphasize some underhand grip, so I went back to the lat pull-downs with the underhand grip just to get a little bit more work on the biceps. A little bit of a different angle. I like seeing this from behind. I can actually sort of see my lats popping out from my shirt a little bit more, which I'm typically not really able to see. So this was sort of a first for me, being able to watch it from the rear view. So kind of cool to see that those are finally popping a little bit. Alright, now we're on to some actual bicep work. Easy bar curl, pretty straightforward. I've mentioned it in a couple of my other previous videos now, but the camera setup that you're looking at is actually a Ringo water bottle. My girlfriend got me that. So it's got a little magnetic little ring on top of it. So if you have a magnetic phone case, you just plop it right on there, set it up. So it's been helping me get some different angles. You see this? I got it actually set up in front of the mirror. I like this angle. Good lighting. Time for a little vanity. Hit a little quick flex. Moved on to some seated alternating bicep curls. I've got the bench set up on an incline, but at this point I'm just sort of sitting upright. A little bit of a swing in there, but I was actually reading online that it's actually a little bit more mechanically sound to have a little bit of a lean to the side that you're actually curling on. Don't know if that's just an excuse for people to get cheap reps or not, but it sort of feels right as I'm doing it, and I'm really not trying to put too much momentum behind it, so I don't think I'm really cheating myself all too much, but I have been sort of leaning into that rep a little bit more lately. Starting to get a little bit more swing, if I'm being honest with myself. But, I feel like if I'm getting the first however many reps pretty cleanly, these extra little reps at the end are just a bonus. So I'm not incredibly strict on the form for these last reps, but I like to just get a few extra in. Why not? All right, then I'm doing now a spider curl, I think you call this. This is somewhat of a new addition to my workouts. It's a little bit awkward with the bench. It almost kind of is like pinched between your arms. I do like, at the peak of it, I definitely feel a nice contraction with the biceps, but I feel like I'm not really maximizing the full range of motion and getting good time under tension for the full range of motion. I'm really feeling it pretty much only at the peak is when I'm really feeling that. But nonetheless, something that I've been mixing into my workouts just to sort of get a little bit of variation, try something new, see what it could potentially do for me. So, not sure how I feel about them just yet. All right, I think this is the first time I've actually had these on my channel. This is a biceps finisher that I've been doing since I was in sophomore year of high school. I had a trainer that used to work with us back when I was playing high school football. If for whatever reason he's ever watching this, Jim Beluco, got to give a shout out. Anyways, it's just basically an alternating bicep curl. You hold whichever arm you're not actually curling with, you just hold it isometrically up at a 90 degree. And it's sort of a reverse pyramid set. So you're starting with 10 reps on each arm. You start with 10 on your right side while you're holding up the left. And then once you do that, 10 reps on your left arm while you're holding up the right. And then you just decrease by 2 reps and you go until you get down to 2. So it's 10 right, 10 left, 8 right, 8 left, 6 right, 6 left, so on and so forth until you get down to 2 each. And it's a pretty good burnout. You're really feeling a huge pump by the end of this. When I first started doing this in high school, I could only do it with 5 pounds. It sounds kind of pathetic, but if you try it, it's actually a really good burn. So I do it with 15s now, and it still kind of kicks your ass. So if anybody wants to try this, give it a shot. But like I said, shout out to Jim Beluco. Still use his workouts that I have from almost 20 years ago. They still work. I've seen these before online. I've never really tried them, but just for shits and grins, I gave them a quick little spin right at the end of the workout. I don't know how I feel about them. They're okay. Sort of similar to the spider curl situation where I feel it pretty much just at the peak and not so much throughout the other portions of that range of motion. So, sort of a meh review. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. See you on the next one.